So lovely. Good evening, Zambia. Good evening, Africa, and warm welcome to the analysis program right here on KBN TV from Zambia's capital city, Lusaka. With me, Innocent Piri. Of course, we're back with some stories that are up for discussion this evening. As we look at quite a number of big stories you might have missed out. Remember, we are here on DSTV channel 279, GoTV channel 27, and also Tops at Decoder channel 102. You can follow the program via our social media platforms. That's a KBN TV Facebook page as well as YouTube. I have in the studio, as always, every Sunday at 20:30 we do converge here with the three big brains we have in the studio in Comrade Mike Sichula, or the speech analyst. He joins me. Comrade, welcome and good evening to you.
Good evening, IP, and good evening to our dear viewers. I'm humbled to be here once again by the grace of God, and I hope our viewers, wherever you are, you've been blessed by God with this gift of life, such that you can join us this evening as we discuss national issues. Thank you very much for IP.
Fantastic. We also have Ambassador Anton Mukwita. He's here back again. Anton Mukwita. He's back in the studio again. I wanted to pronounce it in a London way. Not the Zambian way. It's going to be Anton Mukwita. Anton, yes. But a London, a British way, is going to be something like Anton Mukwita. Welcome, Ambassador.
Well, IP, our host with the most, I'm ever so happy to see you.
Fantastic.
With the speech analyst.
Thank you, sir.
And soon to be joined by our great pastor, Kennedy Mambwe. And of course, our local viewership here in Zambia and beyond. I'm just happy to be with you guys every Sunday evening. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Of course, PK will join us any time from now. But remember, we've got quite a number of stories that have been lined up for you in case you just joined us. Welcome to the analysis program. Of course, I know some of you, we do meet on the street, and you do acknowledge the work we are doing here. Not easy, but we have to do it for the sake of Mother Zambia and the continent of Africa I love the most. We shall get into the stories that have been lined up. One of the big stories we're looking at was the President Hakainde Hichilema last week on Friday did address the country in Parliament, where he, of course, talking about our checking the list on the progress made on matters to do with the national values and the principles in terms of its applications. Remember that every year the President goes to Parliament in between February or March thereabout to present himself, or rather to remind us as a nation on matters to do with morality, national values, principles, and also issues to do with values of the nation. Let's get into it. A lot was talked about. I will start with the Comrade Mike Sichula. What did you pick from the presidential speech in Parliament last week? But before we do that, maybe let's just have some highlights of the presidential speech in Parliament.
Forms of violence. We must all say no to hate speech. No one should hide in a foreign country and push hate speech on our social platforms. Lies. Creating an environment which we are cleaning up for investment and making investors think that there is trouble in Zambia, there is fire all over. We are working on it. Slowly, we are working on it. Slowly, but sure. Slowly, but sure. Because our country's interest comes first. You can't have personal interests perched somewhere outside of our jurisdiction. You are sending falsehoods and allowing our children to consume hate messages. It is not right. We must all work together on this issue. And some of these colleagues are known to us. Let's just tell them, Tekanya first. Tekanya first. Madam Speaker, I'm only saying, slow down, let's be responsible. Let's be responsible. This country, our beloved country, is more important than anything. That's all we have, this country. That's all we have. So, As we ask every Zambian to rise to the high standard of patriotism, integrity, and peaceful coexistence before, during, and after elections, we are asking for personal commitment to this issue. Elections.
All right, thank you so much. Welcome back. Those are some of the, the highlights coming from President Hakainde Fires, who addressed the country through Parliament last week on Friday. Speech analyst, I was on you, but before that, allow me to unveil another guest analyst who has come in, joining the vehicle which had already started moving the analysis vehicle or conversation in PK. Pastor Kennedy Mambwe, he joins us in the studio. PK, welcome and good evening.
Good evening, IP, and it's always an honor to be here. My sincere apologies for running in late.
Otherwise, we're grateful to have you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
It's a washout.
It's a what?
Washout.
That's ambassador there. Let's get into it. Speech analyst, what do you make of the presidential presentation or delivery of the speech last week on Friday?
IP, thank you very much, and let me express the gratitude for this opportunity, because since we're talking about national values and which the president was presenting to Parliament, I wanted to say here that you know, where I come from, traditionally, if you are eating on a table and it's a time for picking meat, you wait for the elders, the first elder to pick the meat, then you as the last born, you pick the last piece from the plate. So I think I want to be excused since we are talking about national values.
It is well. I mean, also, you know, the danger of that trend. Sometimes you end up remaining with the bones in our hands. I remember very well.
Because the owners would have eaten all the meat.
Exactly, yes, exactly.
But PK should have a difference.
Correct, you know what I mean? But anyway, with that, olive branch, I will throw it to Ambassador. Let's see what made news for you, Ambassador.
This is a heavy burden.
And my comrade has requested that we begin from the orders.
Since it's about national values and
this is a heavy burden, and I don't know why Yasichura, Baba, as they call them, these Mbala Markets, Yamukomi, is doing a debt restructuring. This is what he's doing. Pushing the
burden ahead.
The burden ahead. But nevertheless, I will take a bite at this.
Okay.
I know the speech analyst wants to come real big and strong. I know that. And I am fully aware that the man from Chinsali, oh my God, you think he came late today because he's just late? He was preparing to come up with some very scathing, you know. Anyhow, having said that,
fantastic.
Thank you very much, our host, IP. I was looking forward for some sparks and fire from our president, Hakainde Hichilema, over this annual event called Principles and Values. Many people asked me and they said, what did you think? The same way that you have just done that.
Yeah.
And I said, I thought there was a lot of things lacking. They said, what did you find? And I said, you know, maybe you should have asked me about what I did not find.
Right. Please.
What I did not find was, for instance, the most unspoken issue of an African president, not a Zambian president. And I know this is an issue that makes lots of people very uncomfortable. But uncomfortable as you may want to feel, this is a real issue. I was hoping that since the president was going to be talking about values, dignity, and principles, he was going to talk about the dignity of burying his predecessor, President Edgar Lungu, the 6th president of Zambia, who has remained unburied for 8 months. I'm looking here in the camera. People hate me and resent me for talking about this issue. But this is the real issue. Today it happens to me, the next day it happens to our pastor, Yasichula, and the IP. I was thinking, and I was watching, as I have watched for the last 4 years, 2 hours of President Hakainde Hichilema speaking about lots of things, and yet he never spoke one sentence or 1 minute about the fact that his predecessor has not been buried.
There was no mention whatsoever.
Not a single mention. It's like it never happened. Edgar Lungu never died, and Edgar Lungu never got buried. And yet this is the man whom he says he wants to bury with full honors. He instructed, I don't know whether he did or whether he did not, but the Attorney General of Zambia, Mr. Muliro Kavesha, took out a court action to stop Madam Esther Lungu from burying our 60th president, because President Hakainde Hichilema wanted to give him full honors. And yet in a 2-hour speech, not a single word. But I will leave it at that.
Right.
I will leave it at that.
The
The next thing about IP, because Baba, these Mbala mafias, they call each other Baba. Yeah, Baba, yeah, Munkomi, and stuff like that. Threw this gauntlet at me. The next thing I heard was the issue about free education. I have been a proponent of free education as everybody else, and I thought that free education story didn't really resonate very well, because in my view what we should have is quality education.
Correct.
Not free education that has 150 children or 100 children,
Correct.
even 60 children, with an underpaid teacher who also get their pay late. I don't think that is free education. The president bragged about that a lot. The president is very braggadocious. He's a good man, you know, he speaks with a booming voice. He's really well with his rhetoric and when he speaks. So I did not think that the free education story sank well, but then I could be wrong. And then, you know, when some of us speak about some of these things and critique them, they say, what can you tell us? Imweba IP na ba PK. You bring Vamukwita na Imwe. You are forgetting that Vamukwita was an ambassador under Edgar Lungu.
That becomes a crime.
Yeah, he lost his right to speak and think and feel.
Well,
they also spoke about the what do you call it, the Constituency Development Fund, the CDF, which appears to be the crowning glory, the cherry on the cake of the UPND, and I still don't think that really washes. It doesn't. And by the way, I'm sorry to disappoint lots of UPND cadres that the CDF was not started by the UPND. It was started a long time ago by the under FTJ all the way to Edgar Lungu and now to IP, to President Hakainde Hichilema.
correct.
And then it also just made me realize how small our economy, that our president can go to parliament. When the president goes to parliament, it starts being called the National Assembly to boast about $2 million. 40 million kwacha is $2 million basically. We're giving you $2 million. We're going to do so much with $2 million. And I look at a small blogger in the United States of America who was $500 million.
Correct.
I look at an individual like Elon Musk, who's got $500 billion, and I look at the president coming to parliament bragging about $2 million, and I'm like, my God, our economy is so small. What are we going to do with $2 million? And then I say, this is where I pass the mic back
Right.
to the IP, because I know there is more serious and more intelligent people here
Right.
to talk about these issues.
Let's hear from PK what you picked out from the address of the president, or by the president in Parliament last week, as he was, giving a checklist of the progress made in the national values and principles. What is your takeaway pointers?
I think, first of all, that was an important occasion in the flow of events leading up to the next election, and the lifespan of this particular National Assembly or Parliament, as it were.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, that marks the end of the presidential address to Parliament, if I'm not mistaken.
You're correct.
I'm correct.
You're right.
It marks the
In
end.
other countries, they would have said President Hakainde Fires
Outgoing.
delivered his
last
farewell.
speech, his farewell speech.
Yeah, he
know.
delivered his farewell speech
Yeah.
in an event that is not re-elected. What we saw last week would be in the annals of history, in the books of history, as the last speech to Parliament by a sitting head of state.
Yeah.
So for me, that is very important, and we need to take it in its context. Therefore, if that was to be regarded as his last speech to the nation through Parliament, it needed to answer us every single
Right.
question. It needed to ask the nation to be on their feet, to give an outgoing president, for instance, a standing ovation, or a president that will be voting back into power, a standing ovation for a job well done.
Correct.
Whether he answered to that expectation, I'm not too sure, and I cannot tell. Zambians will always be the judge. But one of the things that I picked up is hearing the president issue a threat to the Zambians who are living in the diaspora, saying that you can't be out there hiding in a foreign land and painting the nation as if it's black. We are working on it.
Correct.
We are working on it. Slowly but sure. It was a very direct threat to the likes of Emmanuel Mwamba, to the likes of Lilian Matambo, to the likes of Keti Singoma, to the likes of
JJ Banda.
Sishua, to the likes of JJ Banda, to the likes of Beverly. So that was
Linda Bank.
it was a threat to citizens by the head of state. But I reflect on what Mr. President Wright Musona said. I'm hoping we can play that small clip. Mr. Wright Musona reacted almost immediately. He said the president cannot be speaking to issues of threatening citizens who are outside of a country when he has not said anything about the threat and the intimidation and the bullying and all of these things that Koswe does. And Koswe, from what most people believe, operates under the nose of State House. And so it is very hypocritical for the president to threaten a citizen out there when you leave Koswe operating under the roof. If indeed what people speculate that it's operated by some State House appointees, then that is hypocrisy, and it doesn't speak to morality and the values of a nation. And if the president wanted to warn Zambians, he should have warned sometimes those who are operating Koswe, because Koswe is always defaming innocent citizens who cannot defend themselves. So those are some of the things that take away from the well-intended delivery of a message, because one side you look away, the other side you focus on things that you think are not sitting well with you, the things that you can use to defame others, you say this is okay.
Yeah.
That is not right for the head
Now,
of
before
state.
you move on, let's just substantiate or justify your point in regards to what Mr. Wright Msoma talked about in this video. Let's have a clip, Director.
I've talked about three things, Madam Speaker. Inflation, down. Exchange rates, culture, doing well. The third, triplet. These are triplets. Inflation, exchange rate, interest rates should be coming down. I must say, Madam Speaker, our economic fundamentals are getting better with a clear, what we call positive alignment. Let's utilize it, as I said earlier on. At the same time, we acknowledge that citizens are yet to feel the full benefits and that the cost of living should be stabilized further. But with this macro stability now firmly in place, Madam Speaker, the benefits will increasingly be felt by all citizens through a gradual but sustained easing of the cost of living. That's how it works. There's no other way, Madam Speaker.
As Zambia Republican Party ZRP, we would like to advise President Hakainde Hichilema that as he tries to stop or curtail international bloggers that are in the habit of insulting him and his government, he should first begin with those bloggers such as Koswe, Watchdog, and the one owned by Chelatukuta, among others, which are in the habit of insulting and attacking his political opponents. We, the opposition political party leaders and our parties, including the mortal remains of the late President Dr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu. Minus that, we find it very funny for the president to talk about ending that when he's watching those bloggers insulting the opposition political party leaders. You cannot do that. And by that, we are not in any way supporting those bloggers who are insulting him and saying bad things about him and his government. What we are just saying is that wrong is wrong. It doesn't matter where it is popping up from and who is perpetuating it. If that is wrong, it is also wrong for Koswe, Chelatukuta, and others who are even insulting the mortal remains of the late president. So we feel that the president will do well to begin with Koswe, Watchdog, Chelatukuta, and indeed all those that are on his side who are in the habit of insulting we political party presidents and our political parties.
Right, thank you so much. That's a video PK cited. That's a video PK.
That's right. That's the video that President Wright Msoma, gave in reaction to the president's speech in Parliament. The other thing that I recall that the president spoke about was an appeal to citizens to avoid any form of violence as the nation goes towards the elections, which I believe is the right call. And we do not need violence. Zambia has been known to be a peaceful nation, and I support the call by the president for the nation to observe peace.
Correct.
But I'm hoping that the violence, if it is perpetuated by UPND cadres, will not treated as sacred. It must also be treated in the manner that the president, spoke, to this issue fairly and squarely. That's what I expected. And lastly, I took note of his apology about subjecting the Zambian people to load shedding.
Correct.
It was important that he apologizes, because clearly the government could have done a lot more to mitigate the impact of load shedding on the lives of the Zambian people, on industry, on small-scale holders and marketeers and saloon people and barber shop owners, where Ambassador goes with his with his afro.
I've been asking for a half fare, but these people don't like me. Maybe it's because I'm black.
You know, so it was important that the president must apologize, but it should never just end at apologizing.
Right.
We need to see what Ms. Narumango announced to say the end of load shedding.
Yeah.
We need to see that police pronouncement be consistent. We do not want to see a revert to darkness after the elections. Then that would be very mischievous of the government if they can make an apology, then an announcement that the end of load shedding, only to revert after election to load shedding. It would be very unfortunate.
Thank you so much. Let's hear from our speech analyst.
Thank you
Now
very
take it
much,
up.
IP. And I think one of the things that I took note was, again, a campaign promise that President Hakainde Hichilema has made, that CDF is going to be increased from 40 million to I don't know how much.
From 1 million to 40 million.
Yeah, then he made the promise that in 20 after if he wins, he kind of like repeated himself, because he had made something to say when I turned back. Then he said, God willing, if the people of Zambia give me a vote, this CDF is going to be increased. But I think one of the things the president needs to be and his administration, if they are given the fresh mandate in 2026, let's not brag about increasing CDF, as Ambassador stated. There are a lot of teething problems that have been established. When you look at the Auditor General's report and what the TIZ has found out in terms of CDF utilization, there are a lot of gray areas, there are a lot of misappropriation of funds, misapplication, and the money is not doing the intended purpose that Zambians expect. For instance, there is no constituency that has done 100% completion of CDF projects. That should be a worry to the president, because you cannot be flowing money into constituencies and every year no constituency hits 100% completion. You give them again more money, you give them again more money. That needs to be resolved. I'm glad that one of the decisions that his administration has made is that they seem to have scrapped off CDF being used as a loan facility, because the repayment has been problematic, and it is something that I'm glad that has been scrapped off, because people are getting money and not returning. Then secondly, I wanted to hear the president speak more on cleanliness. The Bible says cleanliness is next to godliness.
Godliness, yes.
But he didn't speak too much on it. He expressed concern that there's a lot of dirtiness in our country. The local authorities seem not to be doing enough, even if we have employed the issue of cash for work, but still more work is not being done appropriately. Why I wanted the president to hit more on that with a proper policy directive. When the floods hit Lusaka, you and I, you know, and our viewers there may bear us witness, there are about 2 or 3 children in Mississippi who died from the flood waters. And I think we cannot look at that as a nation and say it's one of those things that happen. These are small children that need to be taken care of by their parents. But their parents may not manage, because if the central government and the local authorities are not ensuring that the floods in these compounds are mitigated or a solution is found, every year we are going to lose future leaders because of these floods that we keep experiencing. And I think successive administrations have failed to address this matter. And Mr. Hichilema, looking at himself to say, I've done so much for Zambia, I think in that area, even himself, he has not done enough. Because just because of the cyclone Gezani, we have seen a lot of floods everywhere, houses submerged, and so on and so forth. Meaning, as a country, we have not managed to address that problem. Then I want to speak now to the issue that PK concluded on in terms of issuing an apology. The president did well to issue an apology, but something that caught my attention was that instead of giving an apology for his last 4 years in terms of subjecting Zambians to prolonged road shedding, he wanted to throw in past presidents. So, I mean, why did the president do that? Because look, when Kaunda got independence, the priorities of his administrations were different.
Correct.
Even today, the technocrats that sit to advise President Hichilema, I can challenge them to tell me today, if in 1960, 1964, America had diverted from hydropower to solar energy, I challenge them to tell me today, if there's any country in Europe that was using solar in the 1960s, ambassador. I want to know. Because the president seems to say those leaders before him did not venture into alternative sources of energy. To me, that was a mismatch, Mr. President, because your administration has a priority of economic transformation. Kaunda had his priorities of uniting the nation because he had just gotten power from colonialists.
Correct.
When you look at President Chiluba, his priority was about liberalization of the economy.
And KK never complained forever, blaming the colonial masters.
The British.
No.
There was a time at which he accepted that
Yes.
we defeated the colonial masters, and then we are in charge now.
Yes. So,
IP, you're right on that.
so the,
Correct.
the problem with the president, when he threw in that to say past, I want to apologize even on behalf of these others, it doesn't create unity as a country. Because governance, from what I know and what I've been told and what I've heard people say, is about continuity.
Correct.
Ambassador gives me a baton, I get it, I pass it on to you. I don't need to say. So, in my responsibility of if I'm doing 100 meters, I should take my responsibility if I've failed the team by dropping speed instead of accelerating. Then I decelerate. I should take my responsibility.
Correct.
I shouldn't say no. It is because PK gave me the baton. So he should also take a blame. No. That way the president is not promoting unity, because each president that has saved this country needs to be respected, because it is not easy to govern. There are difficult decisions that each president has made, and those decisions are not made on an individual basis. The president will sit down with his advisors to say, how do we solve this issue? As I wind up on this issue, this is why I'm saying the president needed, in as much as he apologized, he needed to create a form of unity. Remember, when the UPND came into office, if maybe the director can find the video, the president told us that they had ended road shedding.
Correct. Yes.
I think you're right, yes, Chola. That was on Hot FM.
Yeah.
Yes, and he
In
said
1
that
year. In 1 year of being in office.
we've ended load
We
shedding.
ended road shedding.
And he asked, there is a young lady called Hope Chishala, and says, has it load shedding ended? And she said, no.
So this is where I say, there you can see that these things are not matching.
Right.
And it is the same UPND administration who said they could not tell ZESCO to borrow money somewhere to import power because the PF left a ballooned debt, because the PF were borrowing, they were getting a credit somewhere to buy power and not paying back, right? But just last week, the ZESCO board chair, Mr. Vixon Nkule, said that ZESCO has borrowed to import this power. So you could see now, say, but you are telling us that your friends were borrowing. Us will not borrow, will subject you to prolonged road shedding. But now, because we are approaching the elections, you have again told ZESCO to go and borrow so that you import power as PF was doing.
Interesting. I want to pick up something from Mike Sichula. When the president was talking about issues to do with hygiene in the country, cleanness, so indiscriminate disposal, garbage and stuff like that. You know, if you ask me, he spoke like a person without power in his hands. You know, he spoke like one who is in the opposition. He spoke like someone who is maybe a minister. He has power. He can even do something. But for him, it's like he was complaining. He was on the lamenting side. You know, yes, he complained about the dirty city we have. He reminded us about keep Zambia clean, green, and you know, safety whatever campaign as it were. But what we expected, what I expected, I personally was, okay, fine. We have observed this problem is there, and it has been there. Our council authorities have been struggling to clean the city, but we are not changing the mindset. So therefore, as a president, I am directing the local authorities that let's do the following things to eradicate this problem once and for all.
Yes.
But he was like speaking casually, you know, speaking like I as IP I can speak, you know, I have no powers.
It's not a priority. It's not a priority.
You understand? So that for me, I think it was quite a mismatch from the president.
I agree with you, P.
Yeah.
IP.
Let's move on, gentlemen. The president also, before Friday, last week, on Thursday, thereabout, he did dismiss two cabinet ministers. The Minister of Health in Dr. Elijah Muchima, who is a former Minister of Lands, killing Member of Parliament, who was a Minister of Health, but also Elas Muvanga, who was a Minister of Small, Medium and Enterprises, was equally fired. By the way, Honorable Muvanga is was an adopted, nominated rather, cabinet minister at the time. The two gentlemen, or the two elders, the two political veterans have lost their jobs. The question is why, and the answer is with President Hakainde Fires. But let's look at the dismissals of the two ministers. PK?
I like that. The answer is with them.
Correct.
Well, very amusing development, the dismissal of those two ministers. Amusing in the sense that, let me deal with the lighter issues.
Correct.
Mr. Muvanga, nominated Member of Parliament. He loses the ministerial position, but he is kept as an ordinary Member of Parliament. Quite interesting. One would have expected that you relieve him of his ministerial duties, you also revoke his appointment. So there are details that we do not know. What could have happened? Because clearly, this is a new ministry. This ministry hasn't done much, really. What is there to point at that the Ministry of Small Scale Enterprises has done in this nation from the time it was created? I am not aware of any scandals that have happened in that ministry.
Correct.
So, is it the rumors about whether or not he voted for
Against
Bill 7?
7?
We do not know. But I do not have anything I can point at that would warrant the firing of Muvanga from his portfolio as a minister.
Correct.
When going to the issue of the former Minister of Health.
Hold on, PK. What are the dynamics of Elas Muvanga? You relieve him from his duties, as a minister, but you keep him as an MP in the House. So what will happen in an event if the president is going to, if he represses that ministry, does he need to nominate another person?
May
Does
I
he need
steal
to
the
fire
fire
him?
from you?
What happens? Yes.
By IP.
We need
May I
to
steal the fire from you?
because we're also here to educate.
Even while you were talking to
Yes.
the PK, that 180-day threshold
Yes.
of whether you lose your seat is over. It ended on February 12th.
14th.
So February 14th. So there is nothing they can do right now on a member of parliament.
Is a nominated.
It doesn't matter. You're a member
it doesn't
of
matter.
parliament. It doesn't really matter.
Okay.
So after February 14th,
You can't introduce a new Member of Parliament
no, you
in
can't.
the House.
Yeah, but then I just wanted to, yeah.
Right.
Just wanted to leave
Proceed,
that to
PK,
the-
on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the issue
Interesting.
of firing Mr. Muchima, the dancing king,
Dancing Queen. Oh, King.
the dancing king,
Nobolo. Ndombolo.
And clearly he loves dancing.
Yeah, he does. And it's a great thing. I love it for that, you know.
The man loves dancing.
Yeah. Can you allow me to do a bit of dancing?
Go ahead.
No, instead of you doing it,
we should play that one.
As PK is submitting, I'll play Honorable Mchima's
I love this host.
snippets of dances.
I love this host.
Okay, let's have some dances of our former minister. While PK keeps on submitting.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that man dancing there, very, very jovial, very happy, even collecting an offering from the crowd. You know.
I actually saw PK. He's a very naughty man. Your team. I saw on the KBN TV saying, Vamobanga, we don't know how he will survive. This was on KBN TV Facebook page, and I was like, you guys are just crazy.
I don't know who posted that.
I don't know. I'm not putting this
I also
on
don't
you.
know, because KBN TV has got a lot of admins.
It's an institution. Yeah, and then he said, but for this one, he has a future. Like Kanda Bongo Man. That was on KBN, but I stopped there.
Let's get to.
He's got other surviving skills.
Let's get to the more serious elements of this. You see, when there were issues in the Ministry of Health, and there was an outcry for the president to act and fire the minister at the time in the Ministry of Health, when there was the disappearance of
62 someone.
61 containers. Medical containers that found themselves at a private residence.
When there were countless scandals in the ministry, the president never acted.
Yeah.
And now people are beginning to ask, if you never acted when there were scandals, what is the grave scandal that Mr. Mchima has committed to deserve a boot? Again, is it because he did something that the president did not approve of? Is it true that he probably may not have voted for Bill 7? That is the gravest mistake, other than the scandals in the Ministry of Land or the scandals in the Ministry of Health. So the singling out of these two without giving any reason, justifiably so. I know the president is saying the law does not allow him to disclose.
Exactly.
I hosted President Harry Kalaba here on State of the Nation, and he said, when Kaunda was firing the Minister of Information, Mr. Chivanda, he said that I'm firing Mr. Chivanda and I'm hoping that he will reflect and be sober, because he has taken too much to the bottle. So the president disclosed the reason. It is not a criminal offense for the president to say why he has fired. Correct. And in this case, the president owes it to the Zambian people to say why he has relieved of those two people. Otherwise, there will be speculation of Bill 7, speculation of what and what. And it is not necessary.
And when you allow people to speculate, I mean, whatever conclusion we come up with, that will be a correct information.
That will be a correct.
Because you've not told them the reason.
Yeah, because the president and his team have opted to keep, because look, Mr. Mchima's dancing at a wedding cannot warrant his dismissal. That's not an offense.
No, it's not.
He's just expressing his joy and happiness
and talent.
So
sometimes.
what
and
crime?
Talent,
What crime did Mr. Mchima commit to deserve a boot 2-3 months before dissolution of Parliament? I rest my case.
Let's hear from Ambassador. Your take about the dismissal of the two ministers.
3 months before the dissolution of Parliament and filing of nominations, it looks like a very huge thing for any political commentator and observer. I think the president should have explained to the nation that, due to this grave issue, I am going to get rid of Mr. Elijah Muchima. And
sorry, we've kept on saying Mr. He's a doctor, right?
No, he's not really a doctor. He's PhD. He's not a medical doctor.
Okay.
No, he's not a medical doctor. So he's a PhD.
He graduated from
philosophy. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Mr. Muchima is a very sophisticated man. No, he's from the intelligence.
Right.
He was the director of finance
Right.
for the Zambia Intelligence Security Service
Right.
for a very long time. And then from there on, he went and studied SCCA.
So he's an OP
And then
man.
from the, he's an OP
Yeah.
man. He's the man of the president. And then from there on, he went to UNZA to do his PhD. Yeah, and then from there on, he went to stand and win a parliamentary seat at a time when it was not really fashionable to win it.
Correct.
And then from there on, he gets appointed as Minister of Lands first, and then Minister of Health at a time that Pastor Kennedy Mambwe has mentioned. We were coming from Miss Sylvia Masevo, and nobody mentions Miss Sylvia Masevo. I notice lots of people seem to be scared of Miss Sylvia Masevo. It is under Miss Sylvia Masevo that we had Mr. Nyasulu.
Yes.
It is under Mrs. Sylvia Masevo that we had those 61 trucks that found themselves at a private residence.
Correct.
It is under Mrs. Sylvia Masevo that before we even moved to this location, station, Pastor Kennedy Mambwe, you remember when we were in Long Acres, that there was a parliamentary committee that was put in place, and it said that there was total devastation in the
Out of
medical
stock.
health sector, out of stock, like 70% out of stock. It is under Mrs. Sylvia Masevo when a number of people were dying because not even Panadol could be found. But President Hakainde Hichilema did not raise a finger. He did not even raise a yellow card. He didn't raise a red card. He simply moved. By the way, I almost forgot. It is under Mrs. Sylvia Masevo when a supplier of medicine said Mrs. Sylvia Masevo has asked for money and a Mercedes-Benz, or is it a Lamborghini or whatever, I don't know, and presented this case to the Anti-Corruption Commission or to the Drug Enforcement Commission. And our good president, Hakainde Hichilema, my cousin, whom I always say I love so much on this, and every time I say that, yes, Chula always laughs. He thinks I'm joking. I'm not joking. It's for real. I love him. I love the man a lot. He didn't raise a figure. He didn't do anything, despite all these piling allegations against Mrs. Sylvia Masevo. So, it reminds me one of the days when we were on this program when Pastor Kennedy Mambwe would say, I miss the President Hakainde Hichilema I used to see before 2021. What happened to President Hakainde Hichilema, whom I knew? Pastor Kennedy Mambwe always used to say this. He says, because the President Hakainde Hichilema that I see now is not the one that I saw before 2021. The promises that he used to make and the good things that he used to say are no longer the things that he does now. So IP, I'm going to conclude by saying it boggles the mind that this stack of allegations against Mrs. Sylvia Masevo did not warrant her a dismissal. It warranted her a transfer. And yet, we do not know what happened to Mr. Elijah Muchema, the dancing queen.
King.
Yeah. This is an LGBT period, you know. Who knows?
Ambassador, you're not allowed to say that. Not on television. Please retract.
I can't say that. I retract.
I'm not the moderator, but I'm not the moderator. IP. This one I take over from you.
I agree with you. I take it back. It's not a dancing queen, it's a dancing king. So the dancing king gets the sack. And now, as I conclude by PK, by IP, I watched the Mr. Muchema. I watched him on one of your rival television stations on Diamond TV 3 days ago. It was so miserable, so pathetic. If it was my father, I would have said, Dad, I'm so ashamed of you. He was groveling. He was groveling. He was on a television show with our young brother, Andrew Mwansa. He was, for like 45 minutes, ululating President Hichilema. He's a great man. I love him so much. He gave me a job. I'm like, dude, you just got sacked. You got sacked. And we don't know why you got sacked. No, he's a good man. Yeah, when he gave me a job.
It's called bootlicking.
My God, I was like brown nosing at its worst. And I was like, man, hombre, you got sacked. You're groveling. You don't have a job.
Maybe that is called
There
loyalty.
must be honor even among thieves. That man, I respected him so much. Former director of finance for the Zambia Intelligence Security Service. Right? The CIA of Zambia. Former Minister of Lands. Former Minister of Health. Begging, brown nosing. I'm like, dude, get a damn life. You can't do this.
There's adoptions coming, Ambassador.
My God.
You better remain good
Look,
with the appointing authority.
let me give you an example. Somebody robbed KBN TV. Have you ever seen Pastor Kennedy Mambo putting the tail between his legs and groveling? My God, Munchima is such a disgrace. Really. Groveling like that. You have just been sacked and you are groveling.
It's called
My
loyalty.
God.
It's called loyalty. I'll come back
It's
to you
not
later.
loyalty. It's, my God, it's,
Okay, before you finish,
Yeah.
let me just hold you there.
Yeah.
Let me just hold you there. All right, before Comrade speech analyst comes in, let me just play one video of Honorable Stephen Kampyongo in Parliament, of course, who came out in a very brotherly manner, trying to welcome Honorable Mchima and also Honorable Mwanga, and he tells them, say, look, comrades, you have to get used. That's what this job is all about. You know,
you can get sacked and grovel.
No.
Join us.
No. So let's watch a video of Shwangandu Member of Parliament. All right, speech analyst, let's begin from there.
Okay, thank you very much, IP. I'll write on what PK and Ambassador said. But in terms of the sacking of these two ministers, one thing that has been taken away from them is adoption advantage. It has been taken away from them. Because when you are a minister, there's an advantage in terms of adoption. You are considered, you are given like first priority. Before they look at others that are challenging you, you are given as first priority. In the case of Dr. Muchima, Ikelenge, he will be like, he looked at the first person. In the case of nominated member of Parliament, Elias Mwanga, he was eyeing Shwangandu, so he would have been given a first priority. So being stripped of the parliamentary position, that takes away that advantage. You become like anybody else. Then secondly, can President Hakainde Hichilema appoint other people to replace the duo 3 months before Parliament is dissolved? From my way of looking at things, I think the President, those two ministries can function without substantive ministers, cabinet ministers.
Can they?
Yes, because you have got the permanent secretary who is the CEO of a ministry. Then I'll cite an example. If you recall, when Foreign Affairs Minister Stanley Kakwo was dismissed, that ministry stayed for close to 3 months without a
It was about 5 months or so.
yeah, without a minister in charge, and everything was functioning. The president could go out of the country because the permanent secretary were functioning, and there are also acting cabinet ministers. So if we can use that scenario, then these two ministries can function.
So what are we saying? Should he appoint people in those ministries, or he shouldn't, because time is gone? What are you talking? What are you
There's
saying?
only 2 months remaining, really. It's not necessary.
Yes, it's not necessary
Okay.
because there's a cost attached to appointing a minister. A minister is not just appointed, then there is no cost. The taxpayers has to pay.
Here.
So we can save resources because there's just 2 months before the parliament is dissolved.
And ministers have to vacate.
And ministers have to vacate.
We are talking about the Ministry of Health. You are talking about health matters.
Yes.
Forget about small, medium, and enterprises.
But IP,
Should
he's
we-
a policy guy.
Yes.
The permanent
Okay.
secretary, as the speech analyst
Okay.
said. You
Because
Right.
IP,
Yeah.
look here. When parliament will be dissolved in May, the Ministry of Health and other ministries will continue to function with permanent secretaries.
without Ndombolo.
So you see, parliament
Quite a justification.
Parliament will be dissolved in May, then elections will be held in August.
In
So
August,
it's
yeah.
August, June, July.
Okay.
So we can function
Right.
pretty well without these political appointees that are just going to take away taxpayers' money that maybe may be given to marketeers in Soweto market or Chawa market or Kalingalinga. Because there's a good amount of money that is attached as settlement allowance if a minister is appointed.
Right.
So we can save that as a country. Thirdly, as I conclude,
Yep.
if based on what PK and the ambassador has said, if the discovery of more than 60 containers was not a problem big enough to warrant
The sacking
the
of Sylvia
sacking of
Maseko.
Silva Masebo, such that the scapegoat has now been heaped on Dr. Muchima, then Dr. Muchima might have done something bigger.
Right.
Because if drugs that are meant to save many Zambians were discovered marooned at a private facility as
For
stated,
several months.
for several months,
Yeah.
was not a problem big
And people
enough.
died during that period.
I don't know. In my view, gentlemen, I don't know. I don't know if I've got a soft spot for Elijah Mchima, but I feel he was a better minister than Sylvia Masebo.
I think
you
he was
compare
a
the
better
two.
dancer.
A better dancer?
No, okay. To me, here's the thing. Look, ambassador and past CEO there has stated clearly. If we have heard stories here in Zambia to say a clinical officer or a security guard has been sentenced to prison for stealing 3 or 5 boxes of government medicine.
Of Panado. Yeah.
Now we are talking about containers
containers.
that were
Marooned.
somewhere
Under Masebo.
under
Let's
Masebo.
make it clear.
Yes,
Under Masebo,
under
yes.
Masebo. Yeah,
So
you're right.
to me, Dr. Muchima should have done something bigger than
hear you.
that problem. Or if it is not, then they just have, those two ministers probably stepped in the way of President Hakainde Hichilema.
Right.
This is about President Hakainde Hichilema and not the nation.
Right.
Maybe it's
And
the
I
issue
think-
the pastor mentioned
let's begin.
about
And I
the Bill
be
7.
they too
Yes.
join Garin Kombo
Yes.
as the other minister to have been fired
Correct.
in the past 4 or 5 years.
Right.
He too, we really don't know what he did.
Gary
it,
Kombo.
is it the ambition to
Indeed.
to be
To be president.
To be president?
Yeah. Yeah.
And is it true he was among those who may not have
Voted for
Bill
Bill
7?
Yeah.
So this speculation may speak largely not so much to government but to party politics.
Party
Indeed.
politics.
And you know,
Interesting.
what the pastor has mentioned is very, very important. In the first month of the UPND gaining power, defeating the Patriotic Front led by President Edgar Lungu, I watched my brother Garin Kombo, very good friend of mine, actually was at my wedding to my wife Elaine 22 years ago. One of my best friends, him, Muni Hantuva, Diangamo and others, they were good friends of mine. I watched Brother Gary in the first 2 months. And he said something outlandish. He was wearing a white shirt. You know, he's a dandy. Yeah, he was wearing a white shirt, a bow tie, and the black trousers. And he said, after HH, I'm going to be president. And I was like, dude.
Which is okay.
No.
It's okay to have ambition.
It's okay, but you don't. In politics, you do
Or you don't
not.
review your ambitions.
No. You do not reveal your ambition when the king is still alive. That ambition has to be kept
Yeah, hear you.
in your heart. From my education,
Is it one of the 48 laws of power?
it's one of the 48 laws of power. Now you are talking.
Yeah.
And I saw that. I called one of my friends and said, I think Brother Gary just made a major mistake. He said, what do you mean? I said, he has just unveiled his ambition to be president of Zambia under the UPND when there is already a president. He said, do you think that's going to be a problem? I said, yes. I think it's going to be a big problem going on.
Well,
and then, this is the IP,
Yeah.
with your permission as our host.
As you wind up.
As
you need
I
to
wind
close.
up.
Yeah.
I heard that this really haunted him. I understand during the cabinet meetings later on, President Hichilema would taunt him. During their cabinet meetings, he would say, oh, okay, can we now hear what President Gary Nkombo has to say?
That is hearsay, right?
It is hearsay. But I think if you speak to 2 or 3 cabinet ministers, they will tell you that this went on for a long time before President Hakainde Hichilema eventually decided to get rid of Brother Gary Nkombo. And you know, can you imagine? It's like, I know the relationship you have with the pastor, and you people work very well. Now, the moment Pastor Kennedy Mambo starts saying in your editorial meetings, so can we now hear what Matambo IP has to say?
Yeah.
You gotta run, my brother. Start calling Brother Gary.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I'll take that as a rumor for now.
Yeah.
Let's move on, gentlemen. We look at the first main, a lot of messages, of course, and we've covered a lot of big stories during the course of the week. Last week, we did also host President Harry Kalaba of the Citizens Fest right here on KBN TV, State of the Nation. And he spoke to a lot of issues. And what was interesting for me, I do not know for you out there, the viewers watching the program, and I'm not sure for what my colleagues are going to submit, but I took note of the plans he has for the country if elected as a president on his first 100 days in power. We have mentioned here that when leadership is tested within the 100 days of being in power, of sitting or that elected leader or president of the country. So that's what President HK he spoke about in that regard. And also, he did not spare the Electoral Commission of Zambia, ECZ, over these reforms which are being done right now on the electoral process ahead of the elections come this year. Let's have a snippet of President Harry Kalaba speaking to his messages or promises ahead of the elections. If elected within his 100 days, what is it that he's going to do? Let's watch this.
Especially that we have seen in the past what is happening. We have seen the proximity that is happening between the ECZ and the UPND. It worries me a lot. The other day, I had a chance to meet some cooperating partners, and I told them clearly. We met the EU even late last year. We told them clearly at CF, we have not hidden. We are worried going into elections with the chairperson, Mangala Lomes, being at the helm of ECZ. We are worried. We are worried going into this election with that kind of commissioners who have shown patronage to UPND. We are worried. And we should be talking about these things. That we are about UPND, because they are the ones who are perpetrating these kind of acts. By the between the UPND and the ECZ. Takwa bafia, the ECZ should be autonomous. At least it should be seen to be autonomous. But the way they have been patronizing by UPND, by ECZ, it is really worrying us. So, Pastor, it is not I sound like. I have no confidence in the current Electoral Commission of Zambia in its current state. And I pray that this ECZ must change. Because going like this, it is already going in a system where you have an ECZ that is not looking out for your interests, but rather looking out for the interests of the ruling party. The ECZ is not an extension of the UPND. The ECZ is a quasi-government institution meant to save democracy for our country, not to muzzle it.
Right, beautiful. Let's start with Comrade Mike Sichula quickly. Gentlemen, bear with me. I'll be giving a minute each one of you now. Time is gone.
Okay, thank you very much. Indeed, I followed President Kalaba, and one of the things before maybe I talk about this issue quickly was the issue to say if he becomes president, he has made a promise. He's promised us as Zambians that if he becomes president, whenever he's going to dismiss a minister, he's going to give reasons. We have taken note as voters.
Citizens.
Now, the complaint or the observations that has been made by Mr. Kalaba on the conduct of the ECZ is something that should be taken seriously, because the Electoral Commission of Zambia seems to be in a cruise of trying to protect their jobs by resurrecting certain policies or legislations that the previous handlers of the ECZ were not looking at, because they thought if we looked at these and begin to implement them, we are going to cause a lot of suspicions. And the issues of conducting elections in Zambia, I can equate it to something like a do or die affair. Political parties invest a lot of resources. And if they begin to see that the body that is supposed to be a referee becomes a biased diramba, a refereeing kind of scenario, then it raises concern to the players such as Mr. Kalaba and others. Because now we have seen the ECZ is saying, if you, for instance, the issues of an alliance, the issues of removing the death stamp on the ballot paper itself, those electoral policies that you want to change are creating suspicions. However, I'll conclude by saying political parties who have been in this game should know that from the time of UNIP, the time of MMD, the time of PF, the electoral commissions have always seemed to side with the governing party. But the way to defeat those assumptions or claims is by you going on the ground, speaking to your member, selling a proper message. So irregardless to say, if you have to beat a team where the referee is biased, the best way is to score more goals. Such that even if the referee wants to give a penalty in the dying minute, you would have scored 5 goals. So if they are given a penalty to be 5-1, you win by 5-1.
Interesting. You are speaking like Idi Amin, who said, when we've got a referee, anyway, I'll not say that. Proceed, Ambassador, from there.
But IP, one thing I like about President Haile Kalaba of the Citizens First is his deep desire to create Zambian billionaires and millionaires. He has constantly given examples, and I watched him. I've watched him on your program, and I've watched him on State of the Nation with PK. He gives constantly an example like the Lusaka and Dollar Dual Carriageway to about $650 million. Zambian money from pensioners is being used for that, and it's being given to foreigners. And Haile Kalaba has said, if we just gave 10 Zambians to do that job, would have created 10 millionaires. And what do 10 Zambian millionaires do? they invest in Zambia and create wealth in Zambia. How the hell did we not see that this can happen? It's not even rocket science. I am not even that intelligent myself. I'm really basic. But I'm agreeing with the man, and this can happen. So I think this is one of the men that you should look at.
Right.
It is the same thing that I look at when I saw again here on KBN TV, the finest station, when Brian Mundubile was talking about, I feel sad about the fact that a Zambian who is looking for a contract, when they go to a government institution to get a contract, the government contracting agency goes to Pakra to check, is it Kennedy Mambwe or Luwinamkwita? Is it Innocent Piri or Mike Sichula?
Yeah.
Where do they come from? I found that very sad. 60 years after independence in the 21st century, that we should be looking at pride, at tribe and region. That thing has never been our issue. It is the same thing that I see when Dr. Fred Membe says, when you say we are going to look at people who are perpetrating hate speech, have you looked at the fact that you have had some hate speech yourself in reference to the president? I could go on. There is KBF and others, but I was just trying to bring in that 1 minute, which you mentioned something different, but I just had to bring in these issues.
Correct.
Yeah.
I'll come back to you. PK, the message by HK.
Yeah, I mean, the message by President Harry Kalaba of the Citizens First, I think is one message that resonates with most Zambians and also perhaps other political leaders, as Ambassador has said. But one of the things that I appreciate about him, he was very candid on his desire to recall Bill 7 when he forms government in the first 100 days. He feels that that was an illegality, and therefore it should not be in the laws of Zambia. We await to see that. It's a noble decision.
Yeah.
I mean, I personally never supported and believed in Bill 7.
Yeah.
And so I would think that he's on the right trajectory to recall any illegality that wants to be laundered and look like it's legal.
Wash out.
No, we should not accept that. I also am curious to see how he's going to implement his desire to reduce pay as you earn. He says he's going to reduce it from the current 37% to 10%, and the 10% savings he wants to lump an increase on civil servants. By that margin. It's an interesting proposition, and I think it's one that will excite the voters. The voters.
He also talked about the debt swap.
Yes, he also said the debt swap is coming back in the first 100 years. I mean, that is politics. I think now President Kalaba seems to begin to speak to real issues,
real politics
that people want to hear, not the macroeconomic things. What affects me at my my level
on the table.
Yes, that's what people want to hear.
Correct.
And then, lastly, I think he was very strong against the Electoral Commission of Zambia. He said that he does not have confidence in the Electoral Commission of Zambia in its current state and form. Why? Because there has been this long-standing partisan perception about the Electoral Commission of Zambia. Mrs. Zalomis Mwangala having been elected or chosen, appointed, whatever the term, to preside over that institution. Yet her background is that of someone closely associated with the UPND in opposition. So it was like a reward. And she carries with her this perception of being partisan. So the the duty she owes herself, or the duty she owes to the Zambian people, is to prove this perception wrong.
Yeah.
That
By
is the
doing
challenge.
what is right.
Yes, that is the challenge that
Yeah.
she has. Whatever perceptions people have against her, or like what President Hari Kalaba said on State of the Nation, she has to show that she's bigger than that.
Yes.
She's a mother.
She's now a leader.
She's a leader. She's a Zambian. She has to rise above partisan politics.
Correct.
And then the last thing, which also is my concern, and I heard it shared by President Hari Kalaba. I saw President Fred Membe of Socialist Party wrote extensively about the concerns in the Process Act proposals. And one that is very critical is the proposal to remove the security feature of the debt stamp. The justification by the Electoral Commission of Zambia is that it is going to reduce spoiled ballots. But let's pause a moment. Who causes that? It is caused by the Electoral Commission of Zambia polling agents themselves. So, and they are saying the reason is they forget to stamp some ballots, and that's why they are spoiled. No, Ms. Mwangala and Mr. Brown Kasaro, surely you want to change a law because of the mistakes of your own agents,
Because of the incompetencies.
because of their incompetence?
Yes.
You can't do that. You cannot cure the incompetence of a person by changing a law. You are actually promoting anarchy. You are opening a floodgate for rigging, because who is going to check which other ballot papers are coming in from somewhere else, and they're not coming from you as ECZ? We have Matero, We have Matero. They produce and manufacture qualifications
things.
and birth certificates and anything that you want. Matero. But why do you think they cannot manufacture a ballot paper? Please, I agree with President Hari Kalaba. I agree with the Socialist Party President Dr. Fred Membe. Do not remove the security feature on the ballot. You will be accomplice in any potential rigging and sneaking in of ballots that have got that feature which is missing.
In short, TCZ shouldn't become the material themselves.
Exactly.
Let's move on. All right, now we'll look at another big story, which will be our second last story of Binwell Mpundu, leader of the Good Governance. Is it Good Governance?
Movement for
Good Governance. Thank you so
right.
much, comrades, for that. A movement for good governance known as Chawaiki leader Binwell Mpundu and his team. Last week they joined the BM8 campaign team, or the brand Mundubile campaign team. Let's just watch out some snippets again.
That they needed to build their future. Mr. President, we started off as a very small flame. We have now blossomed into a big fire. Like I stated, if you want us to demonstrate our capacity and the size of this movement, just give us the numbers that you want us to bring and we'll deliver. Today, therefore, colleagues, fellow citizens, as I stand before you, I am extremely proud and grateful, particularly on behalf of my colleagues, members of the movement, for they have given me this courage to stand proud, knowing just how much work we have done within a very short period of time. When I say in the last 3 years, precisely, December 2023 is when this journey started. Today we have gone across the country with formidable structures, and I can proudly say, if tomorrow we have to demonstrate, we are going to do so. But colleagues, let me mention here, like many political parties, we had a dream. We also wanted to get into power. I wanted to be the president of this republic, like you, Mr. President. But today is not about individual pursuits. Fellow citizens, you may be aware, or you may want to know, this decision we are making today has not been made out of impulse. This decision we are making today has been out of serious considerations, extensive consultations, oftentimes frustrated. Even now I'm still frustrated. But today is not about my interest, today is about the interest of this country. So today, in bold letters, I said to you, as Hichilema, we have chosen unity in the face of a common enemy, an enemy to our democracy, an enemy to our economy, and an enemy to the rule of law. You all are aware, for some of you who thought that this enemy is after just a selected few, unfortunately you've seen this enemy pursuing almost everyone, from the politicians to the clergy. Just a few months ago, if not a month ago, you saw them going after one of the accomplished clergy in this country. So if you are one of those who are thinking this enemy is just after the politicians, wait until he visits you in your home. My dear friends, there always comes a time when, like I said, we have to put aside our personal interests and pursuits. Where I speak today, as I speak to you today, I have friends, some of whom have abandoned their families because the justice system is not fair. I have a personal friend who has been separated from his family, not because he committed a crime, but because the enemy has created a justice system that has been weaponized to deal with all those that opposes it. Today I speak painfully so, because I have got a friend who is in prison for not having committed a crime at all. I speak this today because I have got relatives who are rotting in maximum prison in Kawana.
On a good day, let only a good word be spoken. This is a great day. It is indeed a defining moment in Zambia's politics. For a very long time, for the longest time, people talk about youths. People talk about youth movements and how they are going to involve youths in leadership, how they are going to involve youths in making key decisions of this nation. But today, we have proved it, as Tonse and Hichilema. Ataba Kalaba, Nava Iche, Kutibaisa Bombela Pesa, First Vice President, I want to say this even before I deliver my formal address. I've been speaking to the young people. The young people clearly know what needs to be done. The youths know what can resolve their problems. What they do not have, they do not have anyone. Today, I have got some good news for you. Biggie is in the house. My government to demonstrate the resolve to sit and listen and reason with the youths. Whilst others would want to get SCC, DEC, and other institutions and place them under State House so that they persecute political opponents. The first thing I will do as president of this country is to place the Ministry of Youth and Sport under State House.
All right, beautiful. Those are some of the pictures of Mpundu speaking and also announcing himself as part and parcel of the brand Mundubile team, also together with FDD in that regards. Let's begin from here. Speech analyst, your minute begins from now. Begins now.
I think the decision by Binwell Mpundu and his organization to turn their back in terms of supporting Brian Mundubile is timely, and it is encouraging to see that young people are willing to work with the older generation, the likes of Brian Mundubile. Because like I've always been saying on this platform, Brian Mundubile is on the highway, and whoever wants to get to the last destination, the highway, the bus you need to jump on is the Brian Mundubile way. And Binwell Mpundu has seen to say, my performance in Chawama, I think that was his first contention in terms of an election, he did not perform very well. And he thinks if he jumps on the Brian Mundubile bus, he's going to be given again an adoption in Kitwe and probably bounce back to Parliament and continue to build his political career, probably for 2031, when he could have matured in terms of understanding governance and also understanding politics and what it takes to stand as a presidential candidate. Brothers and sisters, our dear viewers, it is not an easy thing to stand as a presidential candidate. It takes a lot. One of the failures that we're going to see, we're going to see presidential candidates failing to mobilize 100 supporters per province. And once you fail, whatever money the ECZ has taken from you is non-refundable. And it is good that Mr. Mpundu has realized to say, let me rally behind my elder brother, Brian Mundubile, so that I gain more experience. He should forget about whatever people are saying, because that is a big catch, and it is a big addition to the Brian Mundubile campaign.
Right. Ambassador?
You know, just a rider on the speech analysts.
Correct.
Binwell Mpundu, born October 1982, 43 years old. He made a major decision. Binwell Mpundu has a very organized structure. There is about 600 of them in his
600,000?
Wow. 600,000.
Wow.
600,000.
Wow.
What they have an algorithm, and they have people who are registered voters with NRCs and voters cards who have registered. I said 600,000, but somebody told me, said, no, it's actually not 600,000, they're about 800,000.
Right.
So for a 43-year-old young man to have, since he formed this organization in December 2023, to garner up 800,000 people, I think it's no mean feat. And then to realize that, using his own words, when he was joining Tonse Alliance, which is led by President Bige, what's his name, this brother with a bald head and like a pot belly, Brian Mundubile, saying, we are joining because if you want to go far, according to this Asian and African saying, you need to be with a lot of people. If you want to go near, you can go alone. But if you want to go far, so fwe chava iche twaingira ne chichava Kalaba, so that bombe pamune nechipa.
Wow.
I think that was, I know you gave me a minute.
Correct.
And Brian, who's the big, the architect of Vanamutinta Pankasa, I always get it wrong. Vanamutinta Pankasa or something like that. I think it was a great thing, because on this program, we have always said that if democracy has to be strengthened, there has to be unity of purpose. Brian Mundubile and Binwell Mpundu said we have a common enemy, and the common enemy is not necessarily President Hakainde Hichilema. They said the common enemy is the lack of free expression. The common enemy is the reduced participation in civil society. The common enemy is the shrinking space.
But what caused that?
That's why I'm going to PK. The common enemy is what has been mentioned by Amnesty International, by the United States State Department. The common enemy is the fact that This country, since the return to multi-party politics, has experienced one of the worst democratic spaces where political parties have not been allowed to hold public rallies for 4.5 years. Fred Membe cannot hold a public rally today. Harry Kalaba cannot hold a public rally. Brian Mundubile cannot hold a public rally. Some say, could President Hakainde Hichilema ever had or could have become president if he wasn't allowed to hold public rallies? Others say, don't open that check too much. He was restricted also to a large extent, but not to an extent that we have seen.
He has overdone it.
Genuine, if I am lying,
As Mchima said, God knows.
God knows, as he does.
Thank you so much, Ambassador. I will still come back to you.
Indeed.
Pike, your minute starts now. Your comment over Brian Mundubile, Chifumu Banda, Zomani
Ichawaiche.
receiving Ichawaiche grouping of
Do we have that clip, by the way, of
Yes,
host,
yes. Correct.
host with the most?
Yes.
I think he played it.
Yes, I did.
Oh, okay.
You can play it again.
Okay, no, I'll play it. Don't worry. I'll play it.
Enko.
Correct.
IP, I regard what happened last week, was it Friday?
Yes, Friday.
Friday, yeah.
As very politically monumental, in the sense that in my books, you are talking about 2 months to nominations, presidential nominations. There is no time of guesswork. You are either black or you are white.
Correct.
You are either on the winning ticket or you are on the losing ticket.
You're
So-
either on the table.
Yes, or you are not part of the.
Even near the table.
That's right. So people must begin to align themselves. And in my view, I think I have come to realize that on the ballot, I don't know who else will be there, but I know President Hakainde Hichilema will be there.
Correct.
For sure.
I know potentially BM Brian Mundubile will be there. I know Harry Kalaba will be there. I
For
know
sure.
Dr. Fred Membe will be there. I don't know who else is coming, but these I can say
Yeah.
they'll be there. So people are beginning to decide where to belong. Might have to begin to look at these ones and make a decision quickly, because you have the Process Act that is under review, and people are beginning to suspect that one of the things that they might sneak in there is to say any presidential candidate must reflect on the registrar of society's register. If you're not there, like they are proposing that the only official to sign the adoption certificate must be the SG, not the president. So there are many mingalato, and in my view, 2 months to nomination, and you don't have time to debate like they debated Bill 7.
Yeah.
The time is too tight and too short. If they sneak in that mungalato of saying a presidential candidate must also be at registrar, you know, one of my own findings, I was researching on this, and I was talking to a few political party leaders. President Harry Kalaba is one of those who actually told me, Pastor, this is very crucial, because us as Citizens First, it has taken us 9 months to relentlessly push registrar of societies to have him as president on the register. Now, if it took 9 months, can you imagine what 2 months,
2 months
will look like for those who are going to a convention like the PF? For those who are going to adopt a special purpose, I don't know which PF. For those who are going to adopt a special purpose vehicle, what time do they have to continue knocking at the registrar of societies? So, the decision by Binwell Mpundu to join the BM8 campaign team is very commendable, crucial, and critical. At the same time, for democracy. Because you see, others, apart from Mtotoka Fire, who I have heard also publicly say, I have withdrawn and I will rally behind Brian Mundubile. I have not heard any other opposition political party leader who has said, I have withdrawn. They will always say, no, we will support whoever will be chosen.
And we
they are
don't
still
know
positioning
whoever.
But for Binwell to say, I had political ambition
Yes.
to be president.
But I put aside my
But I
ambition.
Put aside my ambition.
Commendable, Binwell, you are the guy.
You're the man.
Totoka Fire, you are the guy. Our Shala won't say, I don't know.
You are good. Our Shala won't say you are good.
Let me take advantage
I didn't
of,
say that. I didn't
No,
say
I
that.
did.
You did.
I did.
Yeah.
Let me take advantage of this PK ambassador and the speech analyst. Let's maybe also we expose the hypocrisy from the given Luvinda camp. And I'm using the word deliberately so, to expose the hypocrisy from the given Luvinda camp. You remember, PK, when some PF MPs went to vote in favor of Bill 7, Honorable Given Luvinda and the team, they announced the expulsion to all those MPs. Meaning that those MPs were rejected MPs, were condemned people. Just yesterday, you'll be shocked, and I know you are already aware, that the same team of the Given Luinda grouping, they decided to readmit Honorable Chitaluchi Rufia back into the Central Committee. What does it mean?
I mean, this is very telling, and I like the fact that you are saying it's hypocrisy. And leaders must not think that citizens are not watching.
Yeah.
Citizens are watching.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, and I recall KBN did an editorial this morning, and that was one of the discussion points. IP with your team.
Yeah.
This was one of the discussion points that if the Electoral Commission of Zambia is proposing that Secretary General Ambassador Anton Mukwita will be the only one to sign on the adoption certificate, and the ambassador as an MP has demonstrated that he was paid 3 million and went to lower Zambezi only to resurface on the day
private
of
jet.
voting, and he voted for
Bill 7.
Bill 7.
Bill 7.
Then you, IP, as Given Ruvinda, you expel him. Then he comes to plead with you to say, no, forgive me.
Yeah.
Why would you only reinstate him alone?
Him alone.
What about the rest?
The Kampambamlengas.
Everybody else.
Why would you only allow Dr. Chirufia to come back and leave everyone else? What if Dr. Chirufia was the Secretary General and is the one who's supposed to sign this adoption certificate? Won't he disappear again?
Yeah.
When Mr. Given Ruvinda needs Mr. Chirufia to sign on his adoption certificate,
He will go to
he
Zambezi.
will go to Zambezi.
A betrayer will forever be a betrayer.
That's it.
Yeah.
So
A sucker can never be a tent.
So these are issues that the PF faction of Mr. Given Ruvinda must look at, and they should never be seen to be desperate. This is an act of desperation by Mr. Ruvinda and
his team.
his small clique of Central Committee. That is desperation.
They seem to be in a confused state, if you ask
Completely.
me. Ambassador, your quick bite over this, quickly. Just
No, my quick
1 minute
bite.
or 15 seconds.
No. Actually, I will just ride on what the pastor
Okay,
has said.
okay.
Sometimes when wiser people have spoken, you do not need to
speak less.
reinvent the wheel. I
Diplomacy will kill you.
I've noticed that. Thank you so much, Ambassador, for saving my time. Comrade speech analyst, within 15 seconds or a minute, if you can.
I think the Given Luinda faction doesn't know what they are doing, because their court issue is coming on the 25th this month. Then on the 28th, they are saying they are going to have
3 days from now.
They are saying they are going to have their convention. There's no clarity in terms of whether the court case will go their way. What if the court case does not go their way? Which platform are they going to use? Because we know that it will be contempt of court to use the PF Legalia, even just the PF name, the PF letterheads, and so on and so forth. So I think the PF faction led by Mr. Ruvinda has put themselves in a very tight corner, which, if they are not careful, it may just crush them, because nothing seems to be working for them.
Quickly, I'll start with you. 15 seconds starts now. Tao Kawana and of course Matambo, they have been cleared by the anti-corrupt Corruption Commission, ACC, from the whatever corruption allegation they were leveled, they were accused of. Your take, your bite.
The fight against against corruption under the UPND administration is tilted towards the PF members, former PF cabinet ministers and the like. So to me, with the likes of the current Anti-Corruption Commissioner Director General, who, like many others have said, she is a UPND candidate. Anyway, nothing against her, but the fight against corruption under the UPND, they are fighting past corruption. And I didn't expect this current administration to implicate Tawo Kawana, to implicate Elisha Matambo and Mr. Masho Muchende. That was going to be a miracle. Even the devil was going to be surprised.
Oh my goodness. Let's move on quickly. Let's move on quickly. The woman who announced the clearance of Mr. Tawo Kawana and also Matambo is Delphine Pauline Soko Chabu, of course, who is now the spokesperson for the spokesperson?
No, Director
General.
Director General.
She's the boss.
She's the boss.
Fantastic. Yeah, she says, and let's just have this photo on the screen, Director, as we are submitting over the current Director General at ACC, Madam Delphine Chabu. Ambassador.
But IP, like I said on our distinguished platform last week, it's all about perception. And one of the best examples that we are given was that one by the speech analyst who gave an example of the property where the Total Energies filling station stands in Jack Compound, belonging to Daliso, the son of the 60th president, unburied. Bottom line, so Daliso Lungu has $1 million, $24 million worth of property forfeited. Hivene Mwinga has $41 million of property unforfeited and works. And to use the words of the pastor, he was smiling and crying with joy as he went. Bottom line, you gave me 1 minute.
Correct.
It's always about perception, perception, perception. People start thinking, do you have a separate set of laws for Hivene Mwinga? And do you have a separate set of laws for Daliso Lungu? Meaning, do you have a separate laws for people whom you think are close to President Hakainde Hichilema? And do you have a separate set of laws to people whom you think are close to President Edgar Lungu? 6 months before elections, 3 months before dissolution of parliament, these perceptions can be deadly.
Right. Let's leave it there. PK, permit me to blacklist you on this particular topic alone. I'm seeing that another program is coming up shortly. Otherwise, thank you so much for coming through, PK.
Thank you, IP, and thank you to our dear viewers and our leaders. We love you. We hope the wisdom of the Lord will come upon you so that the decisions you make are for the nation, not for the pocket.
Wow.
Can I hear an amen?
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you, PK. Ambassador, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Great.
You are ever too great to invite us for IP.
Fantastic. Comrade?
Thank you,
I'm
IP,
humbled.
and thank you to our dear viewers, those that keep motivating us. This is not a simple job to sit here because the backlash is just too much. But by the grace of God, we are doing nothing wrong. We are saving the nation, and we just have to soldier on. Thank you, IP. Thank you to our dear viewers.
Thank you so much to you as well watching the program right now. I know you are quite annoyed. You would have loved this program to continue, but we have to end here because of other programs coming up shortly. Thank you so much to my director in Ezekiel Mengo for that fantastic work you are doing in the background. May God bless Zambia. May God bless Mother Africa. Good night.